I came across a post that is a little depressing. So there's people who have these really weird opinions when it comes to other people's relationships and when it comes to attraction in general. So let's get a couple things out of the way. It is perfectly reasonable to be attracted to women. It is perfectly reasonable to be attracted to men. It is perfectly reasonable to be attracted to trans women or trans men, and it's also perfectly reasonable to not be attracted to a trans man if you are straight and you are a girl, and vice versa for the other gender fuckshits. Because sometimes there are things in terms of equipment that you might want and that those people may or may not have. Now, once somebody's gone through full sexual reassignment, you might not fucking know at all, but your attraction is always valid. What about being not attracted to anybody? Why does that matter? Yeah, ace people exist. Congratulations. We're not doing this like, what about me? What about me? What about me? You're all special. Every one of you. All of you. No. If you are attracted to somebody, and it is a type of somebody who can consent to the attraction, or not attracted to anybody, that's valid. However that happens. That, oh god, is Super Straight trying to make a comeback? I don't think so.
Do you believe that—
Ow, okay, autoplay, cancer. Autoplay is cancer, always is cancer, always was cancer. Liz Chris, thank you for the 1,000 bits! Jesus! I appreciate that. No. So, there is a person on the internet called Janet Murray. But Janet Murray is a freelance journalist writing on women, culture, and public policy, founder of Courageous, commentary on politics, culture, and public life. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say, we have a problem already, and you can see it right about here. So I have to give you guys the trigger warning. British. There's my trigger warning. Said, oh, they're British. Yep. It said lobster pack. Lobster pack. So whenever somebody says they're a journalist writing on women, my assumption is that they're going to be one of two people. They're either a bog standard feminist who is writing about how the culture around us is misogynistic and there are problems with that and that needs to be taken care of. Cool. That's fine. Sometimes, though, the other side of that is that people are going to be reporting about what a real woman is, actually. And that ends up causing me some problems. Generally. Now, I do think that she's actually that second person because, well, let me read an email that somebody wrote on her behalf that she posted on her Facebook 11 hours ago. Good afternoon. I'm writing to express my dismay and anger at your action in canceling the above choir because you received anonymous, I wonder why, complaints about the founder. Janet's views are mainstream. They are echoed by the vast majority of the public. She's not anti-transgender. She's pro-woman. Oh, she's one of those. Welcome to TERF Island, everyone. Your actions suggest that you don't care about women and girls and our rights, and we feel excluded by you as a result. Equality and inclusion apparently only apply to certain groups and excludes women from our own spaces, sports, etc. Perhaps you could reflect on your misogyny and offer a public apology before your action repels even more donors. You have served those you purport to support extremely poorly. Okay. I see. We have a quote real woman enjoyer, basically. So who's the we in the message? So here's the thing about bigotry. Even when bigotry is the mainstream view, it doesn't make it not bigotry. It's still bigotry. I don't have to care about somebody's bigotry or any way that they want to justify it. But the video that she posted that came across my feed, now that I've successfully poisoned the well on who she is and what she stands for, was this one right here. And it was about dating trans people. Now, I'm going to give my response to this, and I'm going to give a pretty nuanced response, because I'm going to give my response to this from 10 years ago, versus my response to this from 5 years ago, versus my response to this from today. And maybe you will notice that there is a bit of a change in how those things operate.
Do you believe that trans women are women and that trans men are men?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I do believe that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so
Good so far.
are you two, you're straight? Okay. Would you date a trans man?
No.
Why not?
So, let's say that a trans man has not had bottom surgery. And let's say that part of your sexual identities, part of your attraction, is specifically to male genitalia. There's a chance that you may not want to be with a trans man. And that's perfectly valid. It doesn't make you transphobic at all. It just shows that that is something that you're not attracted to. There are people who are not attracted to a variety of people for a variety of reasons, and all of those reasons are valid. Doesn't matter. But there are going to be people who are going to try to use this as a platform to say something profound. But let's continue.
I just feel like that's not my type.
What are they missing if they're men?
I feel like it has to do with like personality-wise. I feel like that wouldn't work for me.
Well, we don't know every trans man's personality.
Yeah, but
Maybe they have a great personality, you know?
yeah, I don't know.
What would be missing for you with a trans?
So, imagine that you're somebody who, man, you don't like freckles. Something about freckles just really peeves you off. You can't explain it. It's just a thing that's in your brain. And so you're not attracted to people with freckles. Just as a random thing. And somebody tried grilling you like this about it. We can't always explain our attractions, and they don't always make logical sense. That's okay. That's okay. But trying to, like, use this as a bludgeon in any way, shape, or form? Nightmarishly stupid.
Trans man if you like men.
Yeah, it's a loaded question. It's a loaded question, and it is a question that is given disingenuously.
Something missing that would be pretty important to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, let's get one thing out of the way. Phalloplasty exists. So there is a chance that the thing that's missing will be perfectly there and functional with a trans man later on down the road, if you're willing to stick with them for that. That's a thing that you might be able to find. So I said I would give my response to this. And I'd give my response from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and today, to show why this question is fucking dumb, and why nobody should use it, and, in fact, that when you use it, it gets used as fucking ammunition. A heterosexual young woman is asked why she wouldn't date a trans man. Her reaction is painful to watch, because what you're really watching is somebody trying to navigate the pressure, particularly on young people, to deny biological reality, while also trying desperately not to offend anyone. And this is inclusion, apparently. Alright, first of all, fuck off, TERF. Secondly, 10 years ago, I would have said that I wouldn't date a trans woman. 10 years ago, I would have actually actively argued that trans women aren't women. I would point out whatever I could find from whatever random video to justify my opinion, but I wouldn't do any research in it. I'd watch some random YouTuber, and then I'd parrot that opinion, because that's what I used to do. 5 years ago, I would have said maybe. It's not that I find any particular trans woman more or less attractive for being trans, but I haven't had that experience, so I don't know if that's something that I'd actually be okay with. Now, those of you who've been following my channel for a while know that I am, in fact, dating a trans woman, and we've lived together for 3 years. And I can tell you that I had this conversation with her because I didn't know she was trans when I developed a crush on her. Did not realize it. And after we had the conversation, and I honestly said, I don't know how I'm going to feel about certain equipment, she said, that's fine. Just treat me like any other girl, just with extra bits. And then 3 years later, 2 things. One, I can honestly say, I don't give a shit what bits somebody has. I've gotten to the point now where if person looks like woman, calls themselves a woman, I don't give 2 flying fucks what the bits are. I ceased giving a fuck what the bits are. I've now had the experience to know that I don't have to give a shit what the bits are. Secondly, probably a very important thing here as well, I mentioned that if you stay with somebody who is trans, who is seeking SRS, there is always a chance that the thing that you are worried about them not having, they will just eventually have. Saki's getting SRS later this year. That's just a thing that's happening. I don't give a shit what bits are there, but I know what bits would make her more comfortable, because she's told me. And so that's what's going on there. 10 years ago, I would have found any reason to justify bigotry. 5 years ago, I would have meandered and not had a good, honest answer because I lacked experience. Now, I have experience in that area in a bunch of different ways, and I can honestly say where my position is because I have the experience in order to learn all that shit. But when you try to use somebody else's attraction or lack thereof as a weapon, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. The way I think you should do it is when somebody tries to go on their whole trans women aren't women, blah, 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 blah. They go down their whole spiel, and then you show them a picture of a traditionally attractive woman who happens to be trans, and you test those waters a little bit. Play the clocking game. See if they actually can tell, because they can't. I promise you they fucking can't. Every single one of these we can always tell losers can't actually always tell. That's when you should use somebody's attraction as a weapon. Because often they are utilizing misconceptions, and you can use it as a learning moment. But I think giving them a loaded question like that, especially on a camera, is not a good idea. Worst case scenario, you end up taking somebody who's an ally and convincing them they're some kind of secret fucking bigot. That doesn't help anybody in any way, shape, or form. That just pushes people away. And you give TERFs ammo. You give TERFs a ton of ammunition. Every single one of them, every single time. And I understand the counter-argument to this. TERFs will use anything to justify their bigotry. I know, because 10 years ago, I would have done that as well. But there is no reason to do something that will actively push an ally away while also giving ammo to somebody who wants to strip rights away from you. Because then you get people like this on Twitter. Question, are trans men men? Yes. Would you date a trans man? No. Why not? Because, again, our attractions are often not very well thought through. Most people have not sat there and had the internal dialogue for minutes, hours, sometimes even months of trying to figure out, even fucking Socratically, why they are attracted to what they are and how. Most people have not done that. Most people will never do that. Most people just see someone or something that they are attracted to, and they go from there. And that's about as far as it goes. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly valid. So, to people who are trying to get people to agree that they're accidental bigots or some shit, you're not helping. And to people on the right wing who are using this as a bludgeon, also fuck off. Maybe consider fucking off for a very long time. Because again, people haven't thought their attraction through that strongly. Most people haven't. Most people won't. And even if they have, whatever conclusion they come to is valid, because that's their thing in their brain. That's all it is. That's all it is. Jess says probably they never even thought about dating a trans man before that moment. Basically. And just pouring through the quotes on this is painful. Painful to watch, but natural. Heterosexual females don't date other females, just as lesbians don't date males. When people say this assault on freedom of speech and freedom of thought thing, it always confuses me. I said a transphobe in Suris chat's more likely than you think. Right. It's you could just go like, hey, trans girl jump scare. Here's Stacy, everybody. Don't worry though. Like I said, she should be in men's rugby. I guess. No, that'd be fucking dumb. That'd be dumb. I've yet to hear a single convincing argument for why men should be granted access to women's and girls' single-sex spaces. Right, because I don't want her in the men's locker room. That's it. I don't want her in the men's locker room. Statistically, she is safer in the women's locker room. Statistically, there is a lower chance of something bad happening to her in a girl's space. The rate of sexual assault on trans women when they are forced to be in men's spaces is alarming. Again, Rhino's got an entire document there, if anybody wants to read that. Soccer says, anybody that wants to put trans women in men's prison is pro-rape? Exactly. If you want trans women in men's prisons, then you are actually advocating for V-coding, because that is what happens to trans women in men's prisons. And V-coding is when a trans woman is given to a particularly unruly inmate so that they can sate their unruly behavior on that person. They basically just become a toy. And that's gross. But that's what you're supporting. If politicians, policymakers, and the public can be pressured into agreeing that the man standing in front of them is literally a woman, the man standing in front of you, I guess, but no, and that society must reorganize itself around that belief, then what else could people be persuaded to deny? Ah, right. So this is a slippery slope fallacy. This is just a fallacious statement on its face. This is, if we let gay people get married, then where will it end? Eventually it will end with them fucking animals. Because that's an argument that I've seen the right-wingers make in regards to gay marriage. That if that is permitted, then what else could possibly be permitted down the line? I don't give a shit what's permitted down the line. That's a conversation for when we're down the line. I give a shit for what's permitted right now, in the reality we live in at this moment. What other obvious truths become negotiable that you deserve to talk? We can do the conservative thing. We can go back to 1950. We can do that. PJ Blazer says, people already deny gravity exists, no convincing required. Yep. Yep. And people will be convinced by this no matter what. People will be convinced by bullshit. Always have had the ability to, always will. Soccer said trans women existed in the 1950s. Right. I understand that. I get that. But I also know that the 40s and 50s era of America is something that a lot of people try to jig us back to. I know she's from prim and proper UK. So maybe we should go back, I don't know, 200 years earlier for her. Shasta says, she drinks dumb as fuck juice, prima facie. Oh my god. It's a theory. Gravity's a theory. Every single one of these people will use shit like this as a weapon. And she's done it here, too. Like, the post that I was looking at was on her Facebook. This is Stacy's. Hold on. Not Facebook. Over on Twitter. Or is it? There we go. We're back to where we were. Back to where we are. So, she posted it here on Twitter, and of course she posted it over here as well, because the cool thing about bigots is they like being very, very loud, and anything will justify their position. The fight gravity was invented by Einstein, actually. Yeah, and the French deserve to be considered people. Claire Obscure has convinced me that that might as well be true, but then again, they all die in Claire Obscure, so maybe not. Jet says, so that's like POC Caitlyn Bennett? Well, no, she's not. So she's white. She's white. Man, I'm not going to make the joke. I feel like anybody could make the joke right now, and there's no reason for us to make the joke. But it's on the tip of your tongue. Just don't make it. So he says, well, technically you don't die because you're not even worried. The French can't die in Claire Obscure because they weren't really people. So the lady in the video I meant? No, the lady in the video seemed like she was perfectly reasonable and an ally. The problem is that her perfectly reasonable question, because she did it with a microphone and a camera, gets to be used as fucking ammunition. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the person in the video is actually a bigot as well. I don't know. But that didn't seem to be the case immediately. Never mind. I'm wrong. I went ahead and did a double check into her account just to see, and found some stuff that shows that maybe I'm incorrect.
Can say he's a woman and then go into a women's restroom or play against women on a women's sports team.
Well, it's part of the times, like whatever the wave of social consent or social agreement comes to.
We also say, fuck men on the street interviews. These are also ammunition. But no. Now that I've actually looked in and seen the kind of loaded questions she's throwing out, I don't think I'm correct. I think that she's actually just probably a bigot. Hold on, what's this one?
Would you go out with a trans woman?
Go for a trans woman.
Oh, no. Okay, why not?
Because I just would.
Are they missing something that you prefer? Who's this?
Who's this?
Man, that's so weird. Anyway, vaginoplasty exists. Is the trans woman missing something that you'd prefer? We can just fucking... We can make a vagina. That's a thing we can do now. Okay. So yeah, I'm incorrect. I was wrong. Although, let's see here. This doesn't seem to be her channel. This is a channel showing a lot of stuff.
Today we're checking out facts about the UK.
Good evening, afternoon, morning.
Okay, why would I care about facts about the UK? It's not even a real planet. See, Sean says, notice she constantly goes to that particular question, and the wording is the same every time, but, like, what about this one?
Do you believe that trans...
This is the one that she had earlier. This is the one that she had earlier.
So trans women are real women?
Are you telling me I can't go out with a non-real woman?
You can do whatever you want, sir, because you live in a free country, not a fascist one.
No, we don't.
You live in a free country, not a fascist one. Ma'am, we have a fascist in the White House. You're right, we don't live in a fascist country, but we do live in a liberal democracy, and that is starkly close.
No, we don't.
I'm pretty free, and I'm a brown and a woman. Look how oppressed I am.
I'm gonna leave you with...
Oh, she's one of those. She's one of those. I'm the rights token, everybody. I ignore all systemic issues that could affect anybody who looks like me. I ignore intersectionality. None of that actually matters. No, never mind. I'm incorrect. I am proven incorrect. She's just a bigot who gives loaded questions to people for clicks. Okay. I was wrong. I'm sorry, guys. Women with curly blonde hair and a mic are not to be trusted. Truthfully, if a person is walking around with a camera and a microphone, don't answer anything they're saying. Like, anybody can clip chimp you. Just don't. I said, we can't be struggling because I'm not struggling, therefore suck it up, Buttercup. Yep. Said she sounds like she'd be dumb enough to say there's an acceptable amount of deaths per year to protect the sanctity of the Second Amendment. I forgot who said that. Yeah, I forgot who said that as well, but I think his last words were as things came out of his neck. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitt, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.